Hello everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. In today's video, I am sharing a bunch of new tools from Waffle Flower for stenciling and ink blending, including their beautiful colorful blending brushes, the acrylic stand to hold those brushes, the blender duo cups that hold the brushes and can be placed on the original Waffle Flower water media mat, as well as the new Stencil Mat and Mini Stencil Mat. So I'm going to share all the benefits of these new tools and show them in action too. Then at the end of the video, I will use those backgrounds to make some cards. So let's start with the Waffle Flower blending brushes. These new blending brushes come 10 in a pack. Each brush is a different beautiful color. I absolutely even love the packaging. I think it would make a great holiday gift for a crafty friend. So there's, like I mentioned, 10 different colors of brushes. This size of brush is my favorite size. I feel like it's not too big, not too small. I love the packed white bristles. They are those super soft bristles that hold just the perfect amount of ink. You can see that the handle is nice and sturdy, and I even love the little Waffle Flower logo on the brush head on top. Just super cute and very practical. These are the Waffle Flower Duo Cup brush holders. You can see that they are the same beautiful white silicone that the Waffle Flower water media mat, which is underneath here, is, and so they can be easily cleaned. They also have these little stoppers at the bottom, which make them perfect for the original Waffle Flower water media mat because those little squares fit right inside the palettes that are on the Waffle Flower water media mat. You can place them vertically or horizontally. They work exactly the same either way, and they hold them in place next to your work surface on the Waffle Flower water media mat. You can put your brushes in there. You can put your watercolor brushes in there. You can put your watercolor brush pens in there. All kinds of tools and extra things can be placed inside there and line them up. They come 2 per package, so you can fit 6 horizontally next to the Waffle Flower water media mat work surface. I like being able to put all the blending brushes next to my work surface if I am going to be ink blending on the water media mat, or my water brush pens inside one of the cups as well. This is the acrylic brush stand, which holds all 10 of the Waffle Flower new blending brushes in its acrylic stand. So there are 2 acrylic pieces that are attached kind of by that bolt, silver bolt on the side, with 4 little screws, 2 on each side. It even comes with the little screwdriver to put it together. And I love the way this looks displayed on your table or on your shelves. These are the new Stencil Mat and Mini Stencil Mat. Just like the mini water media mat, they come in those protective bags that zip closed that keep them both clean and from getting moldy, because they do have a little hole at the bottom to let out any moisture. So I do like to put these back in the bags when I'm done. The stencil mat is actually 9 by 12 inches long. You can see that it has the lip that the water media mat does on 2 sides. So I'll show you how I like to use it. There's a ton of ways you could use it. You could put the corner at the top or at the bottom. I like to put it at the top and use my stencil in that corner. Okay, so the mini stencil mat is 6 by 9 inches, also has the protective bag, also has the little border on 2 sides. So I'm going to put the mini stencil mat inside the larger stencil mat so you can see the difference in size here. They are both made with that beautiful high quality silicone that the water media mat and mini media mat are made with. So they are bright white, they are heat resistant, they are non-stick, they can be used with any water-based mediums and will clean right up with a little bit of water and a dry cloth. So now let's make some backgrounds. For the first background, I'm going to use the brush stand, the acrylic brush stand, and the mini stencil mat. So this is the 6 by 9 stencil mat, and I've placed it on my work surface. The beautiful silicone will stay placed on my work surface. It just kind of sticks down without adhesive. It's just the high-grade silicone really works on your work surface. I'm going to take one of the brushes and I'm going to use some Distress Oxide ink. You can see I have a 6x6 piece of white cardstock in the upper left-hand corner of the mini stencil mat. And then I've put my 6x6 stencil from Waffle Flower tucked into that corner as well. So using that corner in that way keeps the cardstock and the stencil from sliding around. And I don't have to use anything else to keep them in place. They really just kind of stay there. So I am using the Waffle Flower Infinite Triangles stencil, and I've never done this before, but I'm just continuing to rotate the stencil to make some really wild shapes here. I just love these colors together. There's some oranges, pinks, and yellows, and so I'm using different brushes from the brush set. The only time I used the same brush was when it was the same color family. So I used Kitsch Flamingo and Picked Raspberry on the pink brush, and I used Squeezed Lemonade and Mustard Seed with the yellow brush. And I also used a couple of different oranges with that orange brush. And I'm going to go back to that with Abandoned Coral, and I'm just continuing to rotate. I even flipped the stencil over and then did more rotations. So I'm just going to use a distress sprayer to spray some water on the places that I got ink on the mat, and then I'm just taking a dry paper towel. You could use any cloth that you use that's clean and dry, and just wipe that water away, and then the stencil mat is fine. For the original stencil mat, which is the 9x12, I'm able to use the larger stencils like the 6x9 stripes builder stencil from Waffle Flower. I'm again using some Kitsch Flamingo Distress Oxide. I love blending with Distress Oxide with these brushes. They're really perfect to make that smooth, creamy impression with the stencils. So I'm adding my last little stripe here. This is stencil 3. Doesn't that look like a beach towel? I think it's so cute. So again, I am just going to spray a little water on the places where I got some ink. I do this right after I stencil. You never know what the components of a color are in a different water-based medium. And if you really don't want any staining, I recommend cleaning right away. So for this last background, I am actually using the original Waffle Flower water media mat so that I can show you the cups on the side here. So this time I've placed all of my blending brushes on the side of the Waffle Flower water media mat so that I can do this background, and then I'm also going to spritz on it. If I were doing lots more watercoloring, this would be a great surface, or if I was doing something larger than an A2, but I just wanted to share with you how the cups really come in handy as well. Just depends on how you like to hold your supplies. So I did spritz some water on this background, and then I'm just using a dry paper towel to blot it away to get that oxidized look on this blended background. And then on top of that, I decided to add some white paste. This one is from Hero Arts, and I'm adding it over another Waffle Flower stencil just to add another layer of fun to this background. So you can see the white paste. The stencil had a little bit of coloring and it transferred to the white paste, but I think it looks super cute. Now I'm just going to use a little tiny bit of loose glitter between my fingertips to add onto that white paste to add a little sparkle, and then I'm going to set this aside to dry. Now that you've seen some of these new tools in action, I'm going to use those backgrounds to make some cards, because having some backgrounds really does you no good unless you can turn them into really cute cards. For the ink blended background with the little splotches of paste and glitter, I'm using Waffle Flower's Happy Birthday Sentiments combo, which has this really pretty happy birthday sentiment. I love the script and straight font, and it has dies to cut it out. I'm also going to put a couple of strips of glitter cardstock, one on each side of this A2 panel so that it looks like the panel is matted onto the glitter cardstock. That's definitely a little trick if you don't have a lot of glitter cardstock left and you don't want to use a whole panel to mat it. You can just use those little strips on the sides. And then I'm going to use some foam squares to pop up that happy birthday sentiment. And with that beautiful background, you do not need anything else for embellishment. Just look at all the little touches of glitter and shine and the color and the oxidized inks, and it's just so much fun. For the card with the triangles that we rotated so many times, I am using Waffle Flower's oversized smile combo. I did cut out the smile out of that glitter cardstock and then cut the shadow out of some pink cardstock, which I then cut the panel down to 4 by 5 1/4 so I could mat it on a different color of pink cardstock, then pop up the sentiment on a bunch of foam squares. And I do put them kind of all along the sentiment there so that they don't get squished in the mail. I did use the stamp set to stamp a sub-sentiment that says, "Your kindness makes me," and then I just adhered that down with tape runner. And super easy to create these backgrounds, but so much fun to turn them into cards. For the last stenciled background, the one that looked like a beach towel, I did use the oversized smile combo again, which it's just one of my favorites. I love the sentiment. The script font is absolutely beautiful. And then it has so many sub-sentiments in the stamp set for different occasions. I've showed this before, but if your eye dot got stuck in the die, line the die up on your die cut and then just press it out with a paper piercer, or I'm using my Spellbinders tool-in-one. My cardstock had iCraft Easy Cut adhesive, that thin sheet of adhesive behind it, so I didn't even have to put glue down to make it stick. Once that's done, I am gonna pop up that smile on some foam squares once again. This time I stamped "Sending You a" in black ink on white cardstock, and I'm going to adhere that down with Thermoweb's Memory Runner XL, that tape runner. And again, love creating with stencils. So much fun, and all these tools make it so easy. Aren't all of these new tools amazing? Let me know in the comments below what you're most excited about from today's video. To celebrate the release of these new tools, Waffle Flower's hosting an Instagram hop. I will be sure to link to my Instagram in the YouTube description box below the video so that you can enter to win. If you want to see a video where I share lots of different ways to use the original Waffle Flower water media mat, be sure to check that out over here. As always, I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon. Let's just start again. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. To make some cards, because just because I said so.